So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create buttons in Swing. As you can see here, I did create this new project called Button Swing. I know you can manage this task, so go ahead and create a Button Swing project just like I did here. And of course, I went ahead and create this boilerplate code here because we've created this before. So essentially, I have the static void main here, and I have the Swing utilities invoke later, which then runs our constructor here, which is empty for now. So this is where we're going to put all of our code that will show and create the JFrame and all other components that we need in our frame. Okay, so inside here, I'm going to go ahead and we'll do the same we did before, which you know now. So we're going to go ahead and create a JFrame. This is where our components will be. Okay, so how do you do that? Say JFrame. I'm going to call this JFrame, new JFrame, so you know how to do this. I'm going to give it a title, button. Okay. The next thing we need to do here, we are going to specify what we call the flow layout. So if you go to the Java tutorials, right, the docs.oracle, and just type in flow layout, okay, this is what you're going to get. So this is just for you to take a look. So a flow layout is part of the layout manager, because can imagine if we are talking about frames and windows, we need to figure out a way, or a class in this case, that will allow us to manage how things are laid out in our frame. Okay, so we have this flow layout, which essentially, as you can see here, there's a little explanation. It says the flow layout class puts components in a row sized at their preferred size. If the horizontal space in the container is too small to put all the components in one row, the flow layout class uses multiple rows. Okay, so essentially this layout, flow layout, just allows us to organize things nicely on the screen on our frame. Okay, so we're going to use that. That way we have all of that taken care of. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say specify flow layout. So what do we need to do? We're going to say JFrame that set layout. So we're setting a layout. Okay, and now inside here, what are we going to do? We're going to pass in the object, which is the layout, flow layout. So how are we going to do? We're going to do something very special here. We're going to say new, just like what we did earlier with our runnables. So we're going to say new flow layout. So this is called chaining. So we're straight ahead chaining here with our new float layout. So if you look closely, what are we doing here? We're just instantiating a new flow layout class here, objects that we can use inside of our set layout. Okay, that's what we're passing here. We could have created this new layout like we always do here at the top. Something like flow layout, my flow layout is equal to new flow layout. And then take this, the actual object, and pass it in here. Same thing, but this, it's cleaner and faster. It visually looks better. Plus, it actually saves us some typing. Okay, and that's always a good thing. So don't panic here. That's all we're doing here. Perfect. So now that we've set our flow layout, so things are set now. So what we can do, we're gonna go ahead and just give a size to our frame. Okay, how do we do that? So JFrame that sets size. Okay, so we have to have width and height, of course. Let's say 200 by 80. Why not? Okay, so we're gonna set it to make sure that when they click on the exit button, the program shuts down. So JFrame, let's set default close. We're gonna go ahead and say JFrame that exit on close. Okay, we've done this. Here we are going to create a button. So how do we create a button? So we know that it's all about classes. So every component in Swing, it has its own class. So a button, we could probably guess that we should have a JButton class. If you thought that way, then you are on the right track. So we can say JButton, voila, there it is. All right, I'm gonna call this my button, new JButton. There we go. We can pass in, of course, a title right away. Let's call this one up, something like that. Okay, save this. Let's add it to our JFrame. So we say jframe.add. So we can add the components. In this case, it's just my button. And don't forget, yes, we need to show it. So we have say jframe.setVisible to true. Very, very important. If you don't do that, you know the result, and it's not going to be the one you want. So, okay, let's run this, and let's see. There we go. Up. Perfect. Let's run one more time. Look at that. There we go. We have our button up. Okay. Let's see if we can add another button. Since we have up, let's add another button that perhaps says down, something like that. Let's say here, let's say J button. So to make sure that everything is consistent, let's say up button, which means we have to change this here to up button for things to work. And let's say this down button. So new J button and is down. Of course, we're gonna have to add to the stack jframe.add. Oh, not that. Add down button. Let's see. Let's save and run. Whoa, look at that. Now we have up, we have down. Perfect. That is so great. Look at that. Let's see if we add a third button. Let's see where that's gonna go, right? Because we talked about the flow layout. Let's see if that's gonna help us as it's supposed to. Let's add another button here. We're gonna call J button test button. I'm just gonna call it test because we're not gonna have it forever, okay? J button test. Of course, jframe.add component. Let's add test. Let's save and run. Look at that, there it is. So it went ahead and knew there was no space to the right, it just put it at the bottom. So that's good. So I just wanted to show you how the flow layout really works. Like we read in the documentation, it just makes sure that everything is still being seen within the window or JFrame. Okay, of course that's not pretty, but at least it's there. Okay, that's good. Perfect, let's get rid of this. Save and run one more time. A label. Let's put a label at the bottom here, okay? In the next video, we are going to be able to tap on up or down, and then we're going to change the text here, the label here, right? So with that in mind, instead of just go ahead and create a text, a J label here and put it there, we want to make it a little bit dynamic, which means we want to be able to always have access to that label regardless of where we are in our program, in our code here, okay? That means we have to create an instance variable outside of this constructor here, because then we'll be able to use it whatever we want, okay? So here at the top, we're just gonna go ahead and say JLabel, okay? We can call this my label. So just to test to see how this works, what we can do now, here, we can go ahead and create, just for testing, we can now instantiate, we can say our my label, right, from the top here, is equal to new J label. And let's just give it something here. Hello there. Okay. Remember, we have to add it. Okay, so we say jframe.add my label and save. Let's see how it's gonna work. And look at that. There we go. So we have hello there. Perfect. So it's working. Of course, this is not the end result we want, because like I said, we want to be able to click up or down, and then we're gonna dynamically change the text here, right? So if you're up, we're gonna say, for instance, you pressed up. If it's down, we're gonna say you pressed down. So we're gonna add a little bit of event listening to these buttons, because that's what a button is essentially, right? So we click a button, something needs to happen. All right, so in the next video, we are going to do that. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.